This is a Fender all-tube amp from the 80s. It is called the Twin. There was a version they had that had red knobs. They called that the Evil Twin. And so those were amps that not well sought after with the guitar crowd. And so they were kind of orphans, and you could pick them up really cheap. Well, because this is the black knob version, you can even get them cheaper. So when I was purchasing this from the previous owner, I noticed that the reverb did not work, and he had no answers. He seemed to know everything about the amp except for that. Well, I went ahead and got it because it was cheap, and it's an extremely powerful amp. It's 100 watts. It does have a high and low, so it would kick it down to 25. This thing, it needs to be outside. And so went ahead and played it clean. Great amp, but I really wanted this fixed, but it wasn't high on the priority list. So now here we are, and I begin to kind of tinker with it. Not a hard thing to research. The back is open, so you don't have to remove any panels. It sets right down here in the bottom. There's 2 screws. I went ahead and took those out. This thing is in a bag, so you just simply pull the bag out, pull it out of the bag, and voila, there it is. It is just a metal box with a couple springs in it. Some have plates, these have springs. And so, first thing is to see, does this have a short in it? So take your multimeter, set it on ohms, and okay, then you just unplug this. This is the input, and sorry for the noise. Well, there it is. There's a short there. Here's the output. No short. So the short's on the input side. Not a hard thing to check out. I went ahead and checked to see if the wires were connected. They're all connected, so it's an internal problem. This is not an expensive fix. $25 takes care of this thing, and it's already on its way. So when it gets here, 2 plugs, 2 screws, and we're back in business. Now, why didn't I take care of this long ago if this was such an easy fix? Well, it doesn't have a lot of prominence. I've got another practice amp. It's got reverb, no problem. And so it was a little lower on the priority list. Today we're going to be looking at what has prominence in our lives, and the writer of Hebrews is going to be speaking about the Jews and how Jesus did not have prominence. So let's take a look in Hebrews chapter 3, verse 3. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he who hath builded the house has more honor than the house. And so here he says that this man, referring to Jesus, has more honor than Moses. Well, this didn't make any sense to the Jewish mind because they held Moses in high esteem, and they did not think much of Jesus whatsoever. And so you might think, well, that has nothing to do with us. Now, the writer writes this, and I think it's really important. He says, when someone tells us to do something contrary to what God tells us to do, and we obey that person instead of God, that person just became more important to God to us. And I think that's something really to think about. Now, I find that oftentimes there'll be a test in life where maybe you get a job and you weren't supposed to work on Sundays or Wednesdays or something like that, and all of a sudden there comes this test. And now the boss tells you you're going to have to do that. That happened to me. We're going to move this office building, 40,000 square feet, and it was going to be done over the weekend, and I had been in charge. They had put me in charge. This had been a 6-month planning thing. It was absolutely huge. It was an administrative situation, and so I did not want to upset the superintendent or anyone else. But I also, my allegiance was to God, so I had multiple people praying for me. Saturday night, I got a call. And I had already kind of went home, and they told me, look, there is no need for you to come in tomorrow morning. We've got this thing covered. There's going to be a few of us that are going to stay way late tonight. And these were computer people, and we're going to be doing some of the final stuff. The team that God had put together had got that thing done in a phenomenal time so that I could be in services on Sunday morning for the Lord. And so the Lord took care of all of that for me. He had prominence in my life. There was a test that came up, and the Lord knew where my heart was. He answered my prayer, and it gave a testimony to my workplace. We were moving in 200 people. Not all of them knew, but a lot of them knew I wanted to obey God. And so there's going to be tests in your life. You're going to have to make a choice. The question is, what has prominence? What has prominence? The writer of Hebrews wanted to tell the Jewish people, Jesus has prominence. Does he have it in your life? Does he have it in mine? Thank you so much for watching.